How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So I'm giving an update to the King Spawn. When Todd McFarlane set out to give his special rarest of all rare Spawn comics, if you ordered 250 of King Spawn, I don't think he thought that people would order so many. 500,000 copies sold. Got pre-ordered. So in the end, how many of these special super rare comics did Todd McFarlane end up giving out? Well, this is from his own website. 1,697 total of these. He said 5 of them he's going to give a special, like, instead of red ink, blue ink signature, and 5 he's giving a green ink signature or something like that. Makes it a little more rare, but it says a signature. So what does that mean? There's going to be almost 1,700 copies of this. It doesn't make it the most rare Spawn comic. Not even close. I would be very careful of this. There's going to be so many out there. And he even said himself, if they come in damaged to the retailer, send it back. He'll give you a pristine copy. So that means every single one of these, unless someone reads them and bends them and breaks them or whatever, every single one of these are going to be 9.6s to 9.8s. Most of them are going to be 9.8s. There's going to be a few 9.6s and probably a few 9.4s. But majority of these will get graded. All be 9.8s. It doesn't make it rare anymore. If you're in the market and you love this comic, you love Todd McFarlane, you love Spawn, whatever, and you just want to have it, buy it. But as far as like investment purposes, I've said all along about variants, make sure you get ones with low print runs. That's what you want. That's what makes it valuable in the future. This won't be valuable because now there's 1,700 of them. Now that's pretty low, obviously for a print run, but still not low enough. Here's some other comics. Spawn 299, San Diego exclusive, limited to 500 copies, much more rare. Here's another one of 299, limited to 500 copies. These 299 variants were all limited. This one was limited to 1,000. It says right on it, on the cover. If you can see right here, it says limited to 1,000. That means that these are much more rare than the other one. Here's another one. This one had a low distribution. They say there's roughly around 3,000 that were made. But again, this was made in 97, pre-CGC by quite a bit. It stands that most of these did not survive and or are in lower grade. And if we look at, we pop up the census for these books, and we can see just how rare they actually are. And how many there are in the census. So for the Spawn 1 that is in black and white, let's look up here. I believe it's under the Spawn 1 title. I could be wrong. There's black and white edition. They sell for about $2,000 roughly for a 9.8. That's pretty good. So that gives you, it doesn't have in here. So let's search, new search. Let's do Spawn 1. I believe it's 97. Oh, Jesus. Another one that's super rare. I'm not sure where it is. Another one that's super rare is Spawn Kills the Office. That was limited. That was limited to just employees only. I've had a few copies. I might have one actually right now. Spawn Kills the Office. This is super, super rare. 50 copies were ever produced. Ever produced. I've had 2 of them. And each one was named, gave the name of the employee that was there. That is much more rare. Here we got another super rare. Spawn number 1, but no black ink. I've had this book before. Super rare. Probably only a few copies in existence. Another one that's even more rare. Spawn 185. This was a retailer's incentive, but the normal edition only produced 30,000. Spawn 188 only had a production of 30,000. So if this was a 1 in 25 retail variant, probably only a couple out there. Same with this one, 185. This variant, not that many out there. Another variant right here. The Spawn 221 variant. Again, this is even more rare. In late October, there's only 62 that have ever been graded. 62. Another one. This one only had a print run of 66 or 666. Excuse me. That's it. That was all the print runs I had for this one right here. And then we got here. This is super rare already. Not very many out there. But then you also got the green cover variant, which is extremely rare as well. Not that many around. So all these comics I am showing you is much more rare than this spawn. It is not the rare spawn. What does that mean? That means that this book will not fetch that much money. If you had a 9.9, sure, that makes it rare because you're probably the only one with a 9.9, maybe a 10.0. But if you have a 9.8 of this, there's going to be a ton that are 9.8. I would imagine that at least 1,200 of these 1697 are going to be 9.8s. So that means it's not rare. I mean, yes, it's rare in the scheme of other comics, of course, but there's other spawns. I would assume that this is what's going to happen. The first one's out of the gate, which they've already been selling for around $1,000, $800, somewhere in there on eBay, raw. Then the first ones that get them back from CGC somehow, the fastest, they're going to put them up on eBay. They'll sell for anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 is my guess. And then it's just going to drop as more of them, as everyone else gets theirs in and then puts them up. And the price will drop. It'll probably settle around $800 to $1,200 for a 9.8, and then it'll just slowly. I'd imagine this is going to settle around in the next year after everything's released, probably around the $500 to $1,000 range, is my guess. Maybe many years down the road it pops up to around $1,500 to $2,000 when these. So what happened is, all these books. All the people that bought these are comic shop owners, and they're going to sell them. They're going to case them, or they're going to sell them raw. They want to get rid of them. They want to get their money back because they just bought 250 King Spawn 1s, which they're not going to sell those at the comic store. No one, there's not enough customers for those. So they're going to sell these, and what's going to happen is then they're going to flood the market. Once they get all back from CGC, everyone's going to try to be the first out there because the first out of the gate, like I said, you're going to get $1,500 or $2,500 for these variants as a 9.8, and then the price is going to drop. So you're going to try to get them out there. So then a ton will be up for sale. A lot of people will hold them up as a buy it now at $2,000. No one will buy them. People start putting them in auction. They'll start going less and less and less. Probably bottom out around $500 is my guess. Somewhere around there, $500 to $1,000 is right around the range they'll end up bottoming out at. And then what's going to happen is years will go by, and there won't be any available because they'll all be snatched up by collectors and be held. So then what does that mean? As years go by, they become more rare because they're in private collections and not for sale. So I can see this 5 years down the line going for $1,500 to $2,000. An easy one to see, to compare this to, would be, say, a Spider-Man 700. So let's look at a Spider-Man 700. And let's see how it's doing. Ugh, to go all the way down to the bottom. And let's see how a Spider-Man 700 is doing. This will give you an example. Okay. The Ditko variant is what I'm talking about. Excuse me, I forgot to say. So here we go. 9.8 Ditko variant. Let's put it at that. See, right out of the gate, boom. Selling for a ton. High price at $2,500. Drop. And went up a little bit and then came back down, drop, and it'll probably, it's been out since 2012, so 10 years, and it's hovering around 1,000, 500. See, it was like 500, and then this moved up to 1,000. This graph is what you can expect for this King Spawn. So, first people out of the gate, extremely popular, go down, maybe dip up a little down, whatever, and that's where it's going to settle out at. And I have a couple copies of this Ditko variant. Spider-Man 700 Ditko variant print run. Let's see how many were made of this. I doubt it would ever say. It's going to be really hard to find. Right here. Let's see what. There's 9,900 copies sold. Let's see how many there is on the census. Maybe we can just check out the census for this. And it'll tell us there's still raw copies out there available. So that's the downside. Let's see, CGC census, because it's not giving me anything. And there's also PGX and CBCS graded copies as well. So that's not going to be on the CGC census. No comics. What? Let's try Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, here we go. This is the 5th printing. Let's just open them all up and see which one is the correct one. All right, 50th anniversary, Campbell, Ditko variant. Okay, we have a total of 459 that are at a 9.8, a total of 900. So yeah, this is more rare than the King Spawn. So that is what you got going on. This is what to expect for King Spawn. It's going to end up around $500 to $1,000 in the end of the day. And so don't get swept up in thinking this is going to be super expensive. Not Todd McFarlane's fault. It's all the people that bought all the comics thinking it's going to be super rare. Turned out not rare. So if you want this book, wait a year or two and then pick it up for cheap.